Cheat code. Support strategist. By clouds. Mind of the clouds not coming down. On AO3. Chapter 63. Spinner. Shoto wasn't late to the meeting, but he wasn't early either. By the time he'd finally managed to get the majority of the glitter out of his hair and change into his new uniform, pretty much everyone was already cramped into the secure conference room Shikuichi had reserved. Eggshot and Best Genius were the only other heroes present, but the Hero Commission had also sent Miria over, so that they could stay updated. The hero killer wasn't something that the Commission could afford to ignore. Shikuichi looked as Shota sat down in one of the empty chairs. Thanks for taking your time to come, Eraser. I know your class keeps you pretty busy. The hero killer has a connection to at least two of my students, Shota said tensely. It's only logical for me to want to be involved in whatever the hell is happening, if only to keep my students safe and in line. Genus raised an eyebrow. You don't think the Ida brothers will try going after this new hero killer, do you? They're not nearly recovered enough to even think. And Danium is a good hero, Eggshot interrupted. I wouldn't underestimate how fast he can get back on, well, you know what I mean. I think they're both a long way to go, Shota said firmly. And while we're working on Tenya's anger issues as much as we can, if Stain somehow survived or spawned a successor, I can't say I trust him to not go rogue again. Well, we can confirmedly say that Stain himself did not survive. Shikuichi started, handing out files. We double-checked the body and the autopsy. We also asked around, and it seems like everyone is in agreement. Stain was killed by a shadow villain who goes by the name of Trapper. Mira sighed as he looked over the photos. You do realize that makes it worse, right? Shota nodded. The new hero killer has shown evidence of having blood-curdled Stain's quirk, right? Do you think the League might be involved? It's possible this new hero killer is some kind of Nomu. It would explain his single-mindedness at the very least. Or current history is that the new hero killer Spinner is most likely an intelligent child of Stain's, or at least some blood relative. Shikuichi explained. That's pretty much the only way that he would have the same quirk, so that's what we've been working off of right now. Shota looked at him skeptically. Stain was obsessed. You really think he had any time or desire, or a relationship? It could have been a one-night stand, Eggshark suggested. Still unlikely, Shota rolled his eyes. I knew him for years. Even if he wanted that, which I doubt, no woman in their right mind would go for it. That doesn't automatically mean he's a Nomu, Genus pointed out. But in the end, our main concern shouldn't be how he got his quirk, but what he does with it. Spinner has killed in a month almost as much as Stain has killed in 10 years. He's a spree killer, which means that he was most likely highly lacking in mental stability when he started his kill streak, and what little balance he had is gone by now. We at the Commission agree. Mira yawned. He hasn't confirmed any connection to the League, so we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. For now, we just need to worry about stopping him. Look, Tomura apparently wasn't sure of a lot of things in his life, but if there was anything he was sure of, it was that this lizard guy was crazy. Then again, maybe he didn't really have any room to talk, but at least he shut up sometimes. Spinner hadn't hardly taken a breath since he started rambling about his precious Stain. The guy was obsessed. Was this how Tomura sounded when he talked about Sensei? No wonder the chat had been concerned. This was annoying. Spinner started repeating himself again, and Tomura groaned. So, are we actually gonna do this raid, or... Trapper rolled his eyes, and Tomura seriously wondered where this little twerp hid all that audacity. Sure, Sensei liked him, and Tomura had to admit that he was actually a semi-decent spy, but, he was sticky and two-faced. So Tomura tried not to spend more time with him than he had to, and left most of the necessary communication to Kurogiri. But hey, If Trapper was willing to be responsible for Spinner, then that meant Tomura didn't have to do it, and it was worth keeping him around for now. Yes! Spinner slashed Stain's katana in midair a few times before sheathing it. Let's go kill some false heroes. That's pretty much everybody. Tomura murmured under his breath, but followed Spinner and Trapper through the portal. He really preferred solo missions, usually since his teammates more than often had just pissed him off. But apparently this was essential to link Spinner to the League. Why that wanted to be linked to yet another crazy person, Tomura didn't know, but whether Sensei had a plan and he was smarter than the rest, so it really had to be a good one. Hopefully. Unless Todoroki was right and Sensei was just using him. Tomura shook his head at stupid chat, distracting him and making him think more complicated things than they were. Sensei cared for him. Why wouldn't he? He saved him if he didn't care for him. Tomura ignored the 1.5 million ridiculous answers that came to mind and flexed his hands as he looked around. Chopper and Spinner had already disappeared up the walls, and Tomura cursed as he realized that he was the only one left in the open. Of course, he had the lowest stealth stat of everyone. Was Chopper trying to use him as bait or something? Oh, he'd make that stupid little tweet regret ever. Yeah, and it was totally unfair, you know? Mount Lady's voice echoed through the alley, and Tomura sulked back in the shadows that were growing in the twilight. There were 3 of them, just like Trapper had said they would be. Mount Lady, Tomura Woods, and Death Arms, none of which were very high ranking, but Tomura supposed that most of the top heroes usually worked alone, and Trapper had been looking for a group. The 3 of the heroes walked through the alley, chatting idly, on their way to dinner or whatever they normally went after their shifts, completely unaware of Trapper landing behind them and setting up an entire minefield of sticky balls at the entrance. When he disappeared into the shadows again, Tomura looked that as his cue and strolled into the light. Hello, heroes. All 3 of them stopped and took fight stances. But Tomura was the first to attack, shooting one of his branches forward. You're one of the villains that attacked UA. Tomura rolled his eyes as he dodged and grabbed the branch, disintegrating it to dust. Yeah, that was game over a while ago. I had to respawn and start over. He strode forward again, which made Mount Lady instinctively take a step back, right into one of the sticky traps. Her eyes widened when her foot didn't move, like expected, but she already shifted her weight, and she went down hard, landing on enough of the balls to stick her entire body to the ground. It's a trap! Wait! Of course it is! Deatharm murmurs, and grabs a dumpster, leveling it above his head. They're villains, so I'm not surprised that they'll sink this low. Ow! Death Arms dropped the weight of the dumpster, pinning him to the ground, as the paralysis set in. Spinner's sharp tooth smiled, almost glowing in the darkness, as he licked the blood off his lips and crawled off the dumpster. It looks like we've got 2 false heroes already. Stain would be proud. Kamini gasped and sent his branches to wrap around Spinner. You're the new hero killer. You're despisable. So are you, Spinner hissed, and started hacking through the branches with his katana. Fake heroes like you are unworthy of the title. You make me sick. Trapper shot him a look from the shadows, and Tomura huffed before reluctantly rushing forward and disintegrating Kaminari's remaining branches, which was enough of an opening for Spinner to lunge forward and nick him with the katana. 2 seconds later, he licked the blood off the blade with a crazed look in his eyes, and Kamini fell onto the floor. And that makes 3. Spinner, you finish off Death Arms. Not that he'll give you much trouble since the dumpster already probably broke half of his bones. Trapper strode forward, pulling out his knife. Shigaraki, you take Kamini Woods. Don't tell me what to do, Tomura snapped. Mineta? Mount Lady actually sounded genuinely distressed, but maybe that was just because she couldn't move. When I saw the balls... Don't both try to use your quirk. Trapper cut her off. This alley is way too small, and there's a park nearby that will get all the dust and asbestos if you destroy these buildings on either side. Actually, I'm pretty sure my ball sticking you to the floor would prevent you from growing anyways, but best not risk it, right? There was a small grunt, and Spinner started licking the blood off his blade. Mount Lady had tears in her eyes, and she looked up at Trapper. Is this because of the internship? I swear I can be a better mentor, just... I only interned with you because you were ditzy enough not to notice when I disappeared for hours on end. Trapper kneeled down beside her. Although, being able to memorize your patrol schedule was an added perk. As Trapper finished her off, Tomura turned back to Kamini, who was staring at him stubbornly. He reached forward but stopped a half-inch away from Kamini's face. Did he actually want to kill him? Did he actually enjoy killing at all? Sensei said he did, but if he asked Endeavor, he'd probably say that Todoroki enjoyed training, and they both knew that wasn't true. Was he killing Kamini because he actually hated him and wanted to destroy him, or was he killing Kamini because it would make Sensei happy? What's the holdup, Shigaraki? Spinner hissed. Kill him already. Tomura snatched his hand back and swallowed. Nah, he's not worth the attack points. Low-level enemies like him don't piss me off enough. Trapper narrowed his eyes questioningly, but Tomura didn't flinch as he stubbornly turned his back. Why had he done that? Why hadn't he just killed him without thinking? He reached out and hit the wall, disintegrating a large chunk right out of it. So much for self-control. Lucky for you, false heroes piss me off more than ever. Spinner sliced with his katana, and it was over in a half a second. Now we're done here, right? Almost. Trapper answered, taking out a spray bottle. I just need to modify the evidence. Fikuichi's face hardened as he read through the briefings of one of the officers had just handed him. A crime scene was just found that links Spinner, Trapper, and the League. It's time to cross that bridge. Okay, that conference, I really love that conference that the heroes had, that whole, talk and whatever. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoy those moments that happen, especially, in the anime and in fanfics and stuff like that. Can we talk about Shigaraki? Oh, I'm so hyper. Shigaraki is changing. We could see that he's having character development, and I love this, right? This is something I wish it touched upon in the show more. Right after how season 6 ended and how certain events are happening in the manga, I'm not all caught up. I see spoilers here and there and whatever, but I'm not reading it and really being caught up. I've read to a certain degree past season 6, but I haven't fully caught up yet. I didn't say that right. But by the looks of it, I think they're gonna go the route of kind of redeeming Shigaraki. I believe it was heading there, and it looks like it would head there. I don't know. It's just something that I saw, and I really hope that doesn't happen because we didn't set the fundamentals to be able to save Shigaraki. I'm sorry, he can't have a redemption arc. We didn't set up the fundamentals for him to be able to do that, right? Otherwise, it would be a shitty redemption arc like Endeavor's, you know? I forgot the creator's name, but if he really wanted to do that in the My Hero Academia main, this show, it would need to be set up. So we would need to see moments of him hesitating and like in this anime, this fanfic, moments where he's like, do I want to do it? Or is it because Sensei would be happy about it, right? Set him up to show the fact that he has been groomed, right? Because that would give plausibility on why he would then revert. And maybe give him therapy. Yeah, I'm good on that. Most characters in My Hero Academia need therapy. Who's with me? Say aye in the comments. As always, my raindrops. Make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Join our community Discord server. Link is in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content. And thank you so much for watching.